The mission of USTAR, the Utah Science, Technology, and Research Initiative, is to accelerate the commercialization of science and technology ideas generated from entrepreneurs, university researchers, and private sector companies. USTAR's programs include competitive grant funding, incubation services, and SBIR assistance. In this video, you will meet one company highlighting how USTAR is impacting Utah's science and technology communities. Enjoy the video.
So Base2 Genomics' business goal is to develop the state-of-the-art platform for processing human genome data.
Within your genome, you have a complete record of not only your ancestry, but all of the, or many of the diseases that you might be susceptible to. And what Base2 hopes to do is provide either your doctors or other medical professionals the information they need to decode why you might be sick or what you might be sick from. And what we'll do is we'll make that very, very fast, and we'll make it very, very cheap.
If we sequenced your genome today, we would generate about 200 gigabytes of just raw data. And when we're doing that for thousands of individuals, it becomes a massive data set very, very quickly. So the first thing that we did, and that was part of my contribution to coming out here, was putting together the compute infrastructure so that we could apply the right algorithms and the right statistical methods to process that data as efficiently as possible and go from sort of raw data to insight about genetics as quickly as possible and at scale.
Because there's a lot to learn about how a genome of a sick person is different than a genome of a well person, we bring in lots of genomes together. And so we want to not only completely characterize each one, we want to be able to very quickly compare those differences across large groups of people.
So once you start looking at the full complex of genetic variation, you can increase the diagnostic rates. Some companies may start with a panel, but the diagnostic rate for those is some fairly low percentage. Then you can go to exome, which is just the coding parts of the genome, which tends to be the most implicated in these genetic disorders. But your diagnostic rate is still not as high as it could be. So then when you go to the full genome, which is what we at Base2 are focusing on, you get all those.
The human genome has 3 billion individual positions in it, and there are many events that we know are being ignored that are really important to things like cancer. We need to take those pieces of software and make them usable by doctors and by medical geneticists. And what that is, that's bringing something from research to product. Base2 will help us not just publish more papers, it'll help us actually make a difference to patients.
Base2 Genomics really wouldn't be possible without the USTAR TAP funding.
We had this idea, but we didn't really have the funding or the guidance to pursue this. The USTAR enabled us to kind of push the company forward.
The next step is to build a platform that allows customers, researchers, pharma, to automatically put their data into our system in a secure and private way, track the progress of their data through our system, and be alerted when the data is ready for their use.
If you have a sick kid, why do 50 tests over 50 days, spending all of this money trying to identify the disorder? All the time you have the parents and the families going through an enormous hardship, not to mention this poor child, going through all of these tests. Why not just sequence their genome and we can perform all of those tests at one time? So I think that there's going to be this tremendous support for whole genome sequencing, and hopefully it meets up perfectly where we have the right product with the right interface and the right back end. I think in 5 years that intersection will be made and we'll have something pretty special.
To learn more about the programs featured in this video and to see other programs offered by USTAR, please visit ustar.org.